So, Hilary, how is your morning? Are you an early morning person?
No, not at all. No.
No?
And back home, it's 7 hours in the past, so
Yeah.
I'm very tired. I'm continuing to be tired.
Do you
Jet
have
lag
any
is not.
routine? Yeah, you're still in the jet lag?
Yeah,
Okay.
still continue. I
Any
think forever.
any routine in the morning to get in shape quickly, or?
Go for a walk in the morning. Usually
Yeah.
get some fresh air. Try to get the blood pumping a little bit, but I can't have caffeine, so no coffee. Yeah.
Coffee is just faking
Yeah.
the brain. It's just messing up with the brain. But yeah, some exercise can do the thing. Okay, so welcome everybody. This is Shift Happens, the first season podcast by Romanian Testing Conference 2023. We are here with Hilary Weaver. So good morning. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna start easy, and we're gonna let you introduce yourself briefly.
Okay.
And we are interested. What do you think is the impact that you have on the IT and training industry, testing industry? Sorry.
So to introduce myself, I have been in the testing space for 16 years now. I am currently at Xbox Game Studios. I work on Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is like my dream job. Super cool. That's what my whole career leading up to this point is, coming to this job. So I'm very excited about that. And my voice is cracking a little bit. I'm sorry. I did a full day tutorial yesterday, and it's wearing on me a little bit. But I think lately it's been with API testing and automation. That was my tutorial yesterday, and I've done trainings on it, and I have a course out on the Ministry of Testing for that as well. But then also the tester relationships with developers, and then developers' relationships with testers. That's something that I've spoken at developer conferences about too, is like building those relationships, because I think that's very important to our industry. Instead of us being siloed and kind of enemies, we should be friends. So.
I'm really fond of this topic. Myself, I'm a developer, and I always try to improve the relation between the tester and developer. So maybe we can get deeper on this. But before, you mentioned you had the workshop.
Yep.
I know it was a sold-out workshop. So
Yes.
how was it? Was it a big responsibility? What do you think made guys wanted to join your workshop?
So the workshop was called 0 to API Testing Champion in one day. So I'm taking you from knowing nothing about APIs to learning what APIs are, and then diving into RESTful APIs and learning about how they're structured in the code, like how you can learn about them in the code, in the documentation, pulling down information into Postman and starting to explore it manually. And then in the afternoon, we spend the whole afternoon writing automation in C# with REST#. So we can kind of go from no experience of APIs to being able to test them and wrap our heads around how to test them, and then how to automate the testing of them. So it went pretty well. There were a couple technical difficulties, as is going to happen when you have like a coding workshop. But overall, and we didn't get through everything, but it's a lot. It's a whole lot for a whole day, and everybody is just burnt out and just fried by the end, but you've just gotten so much information.
Indeed, that's the biggest challenge we have when we join a conference. It's like the information is really condensed in a short amount of time, which is against the way brain works in order to learn new stuff. But still, for those who have a bitter experience in the IT world, and they can get really a really good progress in a really short amount of time. And I think this API topic is of interest, right? Because from my experience, it happened a lot that when we started like a framework for testing, we started like API testing. So it's really cool. Is it first time in Romania?
Yes, my first time in Romania
conference?
and first time here. Yeah.
How did you choose it? What made you join the session this year? And
Lana invited me for a keynote. My keynote is this afternoon, and she said, "Well, could you also do a tutorial?" So I said yes. But love touring and just being able to speak everywhere. You just get to have like a flavor of the area, and I think it's better than just being a tourist and going on vacation or something, like, because I get to meet people around here and also meet people that I know from all over other parts of the world, like all together. It's and like I can go anywhere in the world and see friends, which is just like the coolest thing. I think.
Yeah,
But
indeed. And this is what I noticed first time when I joined RTC. I saw there was a community and people were knowing each other from other places and they were very friendly. And it's really cool to have this couple days when you can do some work, you can do some walking, you can see new places, you can meet new people. Yeah,
yeah,
it's really cool. And from time to time, we need this kind of break from the normal task and activities that we have
yeah,
during the weeks or months. So, you're gonna have the keynote today, right?
yes,
Agents of change.
yes.
What are the main, the key takeouts from your session today?
So this is kind of a personal keynote. So I'm talking a lot about changes in my personal life, changes in my career, like how I got to my dream job, essentially, and then ways that I feel like I've changed the world. And I'm not like on the front lines of climate change or anything, but in my small ways, like running a meetup group in my area, like I'm changing the lives of people that attend there because I'm changing their opportunities, their ability to have opportunities to speak at conferences, like having a safe space to practice or to get a new job in software testing where they've never been in the industry before, or volunteering, teaching kids how to code in like inner cities or lower income places. You're helping to change the luck of people and helping them to kind of get into this industry, which is not always as easy for people. So it's kind of my take on what I've done and then how I approach essentially enabling change for myself and how I approach when I need a change, when change needs to happen, and how I do that.
It's really interesting that you cover these topics of the blend between the personal and professional life, because we are always discussing about the perfect blend or the perfect balance between professional and personal, but actually it's the same life, right?
Yeah, it's all the same. Like
It's all the
this is
same, and we
I'm
are
here. Yeah.
we are just one,
Yeah.
no matter if we're at work or at home. So yeah, and they kind of impact one to each other, right? So
Yeah.
we have to understand this, and also I think it's really cool that you mentioned this thing that we can enable change in small amounts, right? There are people that are waiting for a messiah to come and help us to come and change things for us. Won't happen.
Right.
Won't happen,
Yeah.
right? Maybe in some authoritarian countries where you don't have other opportunities,
Right.
but the only way that we can do is make small changes in our communities, and if everyone will do it, then all together we'll have bigger change for the
Right.
humanity in the end. Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah. So you say Xbox, right?
Yes. Yes.
Microsoft and then Xbox.
Yep.
And it was the dream job.
Yes. Yes.
This is a message that we tried to pass on to the young ones, at least, that it's okay and it's really really motivating for you to find your dream jobs and to work for it and to desire it. And how was it for you to do this
I mean, it was
this change?
16 years in the making, right? So it's like 16 years of learning and kind of growing in my career and finding my place in my career, but also applying many, many times and being rejected many, many times from jobs that I thought were my dream job. But and it's kind of a spoiler for what I've talked about in my keynote, but I I needed those rejections to grow further in my career, to actually be able to succeed in this job. Like if I would have gotten this job 2 years ago, I wouldn't be able to succeed like I can now, because I needed that additional experience and understanding of how things work to be able to actually tackle this job
Yeah.
properly.
I'm totally with you on this because we are in the century of doing things as fast as possible, right?
Yep.
The society is asking to us to do things. I need it yesterday. Okay, there's no yesterday, it's past already. We need to do it in our way. We need to pass through some milestones.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So I know that you mentioned that social media made you a better tester and improved some certain aspects. Can you please elaborate a bit on this?
Yes, yes. So that is, I use things on social media as heuristics for myself. So I follow a lot of anti-racism advocates, disability advocates, things like that. And just kind of by expanding my social media, I don't know, not presence, but like the people that I follow and the circles that I'm in, I'm able to see how they experience the world and how they experience software. And that's where the interesting things come in, where you see people, they'll tweet about, anybody will like tweet about bad software, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, well, because I have only 2 characters in my last name, this form is telling me that my last name is invalid. Or someone that on TikTok that was they were getting fingerprinted for a job or something, and the software couldn't handle them having less than 10 digits. If they had, they were missing fingers on both hands, and the software just kind of couldn't handle it. How it couldn't handle from, if you started from a new session, removing, like you had to start with the number of digits that you had or something. There was just some big,
I get it.
and it's embarrassing for people to have to kind of deal with that, but it also takes more time out of their lives. So using those kind of stories that I see and helping me inform my testing of, like, if I can approach this product, like what would this person that I saw on TikTok, how would they handle this software that I'm testing? And in games, what's really cool is just seeing the representation that we have in games and how we're able to represent more people. Like I'm hard of hearing. I wear hearing aids. I'm not wearing them right now because they hurt. But being able to have hearing aids on my avatar is like one of the coolest things that I love that. And I realized, like, and things where I create an avatar and I can't do that, it feels a little piece of me is not in that thing. So it's, I don't know, approaching things and just kind of expanding our personas that we look at our software with just more heuristics that we can approach things with.
Really, really interesting. Yeah, and what I find even more interesting. I mean, I'm in a point now where I'm thinking what the kids will do, and I'm thinking also my kid and how I will be able to build a healthy relation between him and social media. And I'm trying to watch the teenagers that are having, from my point of view, like an unhealthy relation with
Yes.
social media.
Yeah.
And this is like a really interesting point, that you can be there, but don't be there just waste most of the time of your day. You can be there and get valuable information,
Right.
and use it in your professional life. Cool. So I have in my notes that you've shared on your blog some personal tragedy story that you faced, and also some ambitious, some goals related to running and cycling, right? How do you cope with these changes? What strategies have worked for you to face this? these challenges and this
Yeah.
ambitious that you've set?
Yeah, I think you're referring to like my back injury and having had back surgery, and I have a spinal fusion, so I have the L4 and L5 down at the bottom of my spine are fused together. That was a huge challenge learning that change, because I was super active, and going from that to not really being able to walk more than 5 minutes without pain or needing assistance. That it was just kind of a dramatic change for me to understand, like, this is what physical disability is like when you can't get around and do things that you want to do. And, through all of that stuff, and some complications after surgery, it took about 3 months before I could walk unassisted again. Because after back surgery, you have to learn how to sit and stand and walk again. Like, it's all brand new. The muscles have to relearn everything. So going from super active to completely inactive for a long time, and then slowly, gradually being able to get up to walk and get around again. I make sure to walk a mile or 1.6 kilometers every day, because I don't want to take movement for granted again, because I've experienced not being able to move and wanting to. So a couple days ago, I just walked around Cluj, 16 kilometers.
It's a
I
lot.
was very tired, but it's
And
also
there's
good for.
also going up on
Yes,
the
it's
hill.
all
So,
hills. It's like
yeah.
I'm going downhill for the first part, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad coming back. But it's good because it also is good for my brain. Like, the mental health aspects of it are great because I can work through ideas. I work through so much of my keynote on these walks that I take every day, and it's a good way to get a break from work. I like to take them at lunchtime if I can, so that I can just kind of have a midday refresh.
There's always a balance and a battle in the same time. It's like we are saying that our brain is in control and can make our bodies be more in fit. I mean, if I have like a good mindset, I can go and exercise and be in better shape, and this will help me. But if I get into a point where my body can no longer help me, even though my brain is willing to go into running and cycling, and you get into these battles, and it's sometimes can be quite difficult to get out of it. But there's a lot of examples and a lot of ITs, I don't know, developers, testers that I've met that had back injuries. Some because of too much sports, others because of too much sitting on the chair in front of the computer. So there's always the need to find some balance, but there's no problem if you have some issues like this. You just have to keep going further, right? You,
Yeah.
you, you, you get out of it, you'll find the energy, get out of it, and then you continue, and then you get your dream job, and then you, right?
Right, right. Yeah, things continue. Like, it's life continues no matter if you can move or not. But it's finding the things, like, the big struggle was that I found that I really needed that movement for my mental health. And then when I suddenly wasn't able to, all my brain could think was, now I have nothing. Now there's nothing I can do. So I spent a lot of time on Stardew Valley playing video games, because that's something I could do, because I couldn't walk, so sitting was the thing that I could do. But yeah, it's a shift for sure.
I would have a personal curiosity about game testing. Somehow I don't know if it's the game testers or if the others that have some friends that are game testers, which consider that a profession in this area would mean just to play all day long, just to play. Is it just about playing?
No, it's not.
Let's break the myth. So game testing is not about playing, right?
So maybe for some roles, for my role as a quality engineer, it's not. But there are some folks that's pretty much what they do all day. But as you kind of get to more like engineer roles,
Yeah.
there's the strategy around it, the automation, all of that stuff. So you're not playing as much, but we do get we get to beta test or alpha test really other games that are being developed within the studios, which is like the coolest days ever because I get to play a different game that I'm playing like all the time. But yeah, I'm not playing Flight Simulator day in and day out at work. But I mean, for some roles, that's pretty much what you're doing. But that's kind of like the more entry level, I guess, games testers kind of roles. But then you can get into more like strategy and then engineering kind of levels as well.
Yeah, and it's about. I mean, I'm playing, but I have to keep an eye open on the issues that might
Yeah.
happen while playing, and I have to become responsible about those, and I have to document them, right? And
Yes.
I have to understand. I can get to understand why they happen, and then I can go to the
Right.
next level, and it's
Yeah.
always about trying to get deeper and deeper with the topic, right? And
Right. Yeah. It's not just playing to play. Like you're not just having fun.
Yeah.
You're validating bugs, fixes, and validating new features. Like, and sometimes that's not fun.
Yeah.
So
We were discussing in the other episodes about digital transformation, which is like an overused keyword, at least in the last years after a pandemic. How is it digital transformation seen in the gaming world? Is there a change that happened lately with all the change after the pandemic, or it's quite the same? People are used in a lot of years already to play their games remotely online from their homes, and there's nothing that had changed recently. Are there more security concerns? Is there any AI that is impacting with the
Yeah.
gaming space?
So with the pandemic, gaming got more popular, right? Because people are stuck at home. But I didn't join. I just joined less than a year ago, so I joined during that time. But I'm also fully remote. I don't work at the Xbox offices, but most of my team are also remote. But that just started pretty much from the pandemic, and I think there has been a lot of definitely security concerns because we're working on super classified stuff that we don't want released before we're ready, right? So there's a lot of the way that we can keep things confidential through like our digital tools that we use to communicate and things like that. And then when I joined, they shipped me a giant box of equipment so that I could play. Like I needed a gaming rig, I needed an Xbox development kit, like I needed all of these things to be able to work. And that's, I'm sure, very different from what they're used to. But like with AI and stuff, like that's going to help us so much. So working on Flight Simulator, I work on a game where the world in the game is the planet Earth.
Yeah.
It is the entire planet. So if someone wants to fly from Cluj to Bucharest and they want to kind of fly low or something like that, we want to make sure that they can see things properly and it doesn't look messed up and there's no, but that's the entire planet we have to test.
Yes.
So AI is essential for us to be able to kind of test all of these areas, and we're getting more and more tools that allow us to do that. But we also work with Bing Maps to kind of figure out what we should be seeing, and the other tooling folks that we work with to kind of build the planet. It's a group effort. There's a lot of folks working on things to make sure that everything works properly.
You mentioned before about your API testing workshop and about social media and how you can get insights from social media from people interacting with software, and then you can bring that information to your testing frameworks and so on. Do you think there will be some help from AI in the future, which such activities like having AI being trained on social media, public posts, and get like quickly insights from there, and maybe if possible some backbones of some testing? Do you think this is? I must say from the beginning, I'm afraid of AI. This is what I've been telling. I'm a bit afraid of it. It all started with some books read some years ago, where it was mentioned that AI will be will represent the end of humanity. But I try to understand where could be useful, and I'm thinking if in these topics, do you think is it possible, or there's definitely needs for human skills there to be able to understand the other humans' issues and transform them in?
I think it's possible. It could be helpful. I haven't thought about it in that capacity. I think more in like when we're, if I'm traveling the world and I want to see if something is like if water is flowing, we can use AI to do that. Like, I think that's something that AI would be good for, is to look for these kinds of things that we can give it specific instructions like that, for like figuring out sentiment, of someone's post on social media. There's AI that does that already, but is it always accurate? Can it actually tell us what is needed? Because you need that, creative thinking sometimes to be able to understand what is this person talking about? Exactly. What do they actually mean? Exactly. What did they run into? And to have to train
the context and
have to train an AI on that, I think would be. I don't know if it would be useful,
And it's not worth spending the energy into that direction in the end, I think. Great. Thank you. Is there anything that I didn't ask and you want to add, or maybe some closing message for our viewers?
Let's see. So if I talk to the camera there.
Yeah.
So I think just be kind. That's the message that I have. Be kind to people. You never know what they're going through. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Hilary, and looking forward to your keynote in the afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, and thank everyone for watching us. I am Alex Mocioi, Shift Happens podcast host. First season, we are live at Romanian Testing Conference. See you in the next episode.